in the cabbage.
Well, let's get it.
Test, test, test.
Yeah, we're live.
Welcome to In the Cabbage. This is crazy.
This is pretty bananas right now that we're actually doing this.
I'm Tommy Swain, Andrew Witt. Please subscribe, please listen, please download, like. And just a reminder, keep swinging. Heyo! Welcome back to In the Cabbage. I'm your boy, Tommy Swain. To my right, or your left, Andrew Witt.
What up, y'all?
What up, buddy? We are back to the cozy corner.
Little C squared action coming at you.
Squared. Yeah, it's just my comfy. We really want to get rid of this couch. I'm not going to lie. Not so comfy anymore.
You know what, dude? This couch will forever be goated. Just like the couch at my parents' place back in the day that you said it was the tomorrow couch. Which, by the way, probably one of the greatest all-time sayings that I've ever heard come out of anyone's mouth is just a tomorrow couch, and that was a very new concept to me. I was like, I'm like, what do you mean by that? You're like, well, anytime you sit in it, everything just gets pushed back to tomorrow, and you're fine pushing that bitch out.
Yeah, you sit down on that couch, and it's a tomorrow problem.
So this couch for me, when I was coaching in those summer camps and those beach camps, you were still rocking that 6 to 3 job working at First American in the New York time zone, right? And I'd come back home to your place, second home, honestly, and I would take the greatest naps there while you just like wrap up like 2 hours of work, and then we'd go play 18. That was just like all time, dude.
That was truly the second coming of our golf obsession.
Yeah, for sure. We played all the time, and it was like $33 with a cart to go get out before COVID. It was just unbelievable.
Right.
We were living it up.
That was like right when COVID was starting, like the rumors were starting, kind of? Or was it just like
it was a little bit before, because that was like March, so it was like the prior year that we were doing that kind of stuff.
Right. Why were you coaching locally?
I was coaching in LB.
Okay.
But I was also, I believe at the time I was living at Katie's family's place.
You were?
Yeah, Katie's parents' house.
So you coach from LB, you come back.
Right, exactly.
Right, there we go.
And so this couch, when you say that you're going to get rid of it, I'm like, oh, I just got the fondest memories of taking the greatest naps on this.
Yeah, when it was good,
couch.
but I feel like I would love to know the death tolls of couches since COVID. Like when couches were good,
significantly spiked.
Yeah, and then
they spiked up. People are just rolling through couches.
Right.
And they're putting in double, triple shifts on those things.
There's like just wood. You know, like when your couch is like not that great, and you can sit down, and you can feel the wood on it now.
What? Okay. Also, why do they have such a short lifespan?
Yeah, I feel like my old couches my mom used to have would last for like forever, but now it's like couches die within like.
Living
2
spaces
years, 3 years.
is just a monopoly, and they're coming to get us.
Yeah, and I just
charging an arm and a leg, and these things work for maybe 3 years.
And you have to spend good money to get a good couch.
Exactly.
I can't get a good couch for like $500, $600.
No, and you don't even enjoy those couches either.
Yeah,
we'll have to say the one that we threw a little bit of chunk of change at this past time.
Great.
It's a great couch.
Great.
Love it, and it was we got a great deal on it. But but it's like you got to spend $5,000 for like leather and like the recliner, and like you want the lazy boy, but it's like, damn son, I got to pull out like a loan for this thing.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna have to. Madison and I want to put money on a couch next time from like I don't know, from wherever. And obviously I'm like nervous about it. You know what? I have a theory that actually the big couch companies put COVID together to destroy couches because they were losing sales.
That's why they're making them so shitty as well.
Yeah. So you just run. That's why the theory is it's like people don't make anything to last anymore because like then you have to buy it again.
Yeah, it's true.
Like people would have fridges for like 30 plus years. My grandma still has the same fridge. But let me tell you, the Cokes that come out of that fridge
are just
all
undefeated.
time.
Your mom has one of those fridges too. That's only for drinks, and their beers are always at the perfect temperature.
That used to be our old fridge in the garage.
Fantastic. But if you're asking me if we're gonna get like a remodeling of like the kitchen, or we're getting like a really bomb couch for $6-7 It depends on how rough the kitchen is, but I heavily lean towards the couch at that point.
Yeah.
Like a couch, you spend so much time on it, weekends, weeknights.
We eat on it.
Yeah, I mean it's fully functioning. You spend so much of your time there. It's almost like the bed. Like you're not skimping on the bed ever. You try not to. Not skipping on sheets. And like
No.
a couch is one of those other like such a necessity. You need to have it. Have to have a good one.
Yeah. You know what also are like couches that go bad super fast? Teeth.
Yeah, they do.
Why?
You have just been plagued with some dental issues.
I don't know. It's my English heritage shining through. My fucking chiclets in my mouth can't stay in there, baby. I don't know what we're trying to do here. I went in today to get my crown, my permanent crown this time.
Right, because you had the temp, and then you had like that cavity thing that
Right.
fell out, and you had the sensitivity going on, and
Right.
then now you
so
got the,
finally, like the nerve sensitivity's gone. Thank God.
perfect.
So that means no root canal.
Amazing.
Right. But
I think you might have just willed that thing away.
I think I did too. I think I told my brain like it's not happening, so figure it out, and it kind of just did what I wanted to do. I'm not going through surgery for a nerve on my mouth,
and not to get drilled in while you're like sitting there wide awake, like, oh God.
I got a tip today from a source. I wouldn't say it's super reliable. I have to do some more research on the back end of it.
Was it Instagram?
No. He said you should just yank the tooth out because at some point, if you have a root canal young enough, the tooth will go bad and black because it's just dead, and they'll have to yank it out and replace it anyways.
Right.
So the theory is you just get it yanked out and just get a temp put in or whatever.
You just get it over with and done with right then and there.
Yeah. So we're I'm in the dentist office and she's trying to take my temp out, and they're like, "Hey, you gotta be careful with the temp. There's semi-permanent concrete in it, but you can't chew like sticky stuff, whatever." I'm like, "Okay, whatever. There's concrete in my mouth. How temp can it be?" Girl just like reaches in with her fingers and like pulls my tooth out basically.
Whoa.
So I'm like, well, okay, that was really temp. That wasn't like there wasn't any sort of like resistance on this tooth. And then she drops it, and I almost swallow the tooth for the second time. So I gotta regurgitate this tooth with my tongue like I'm doing a shitty seal act. Pull out this tooth with my tongue, and then then she puts the permanent one on, and she's like, you're gonna have cold sensitivity, it's gonna be hot sensitivity. We can numb you up, but it's gonna be X amount more. We can just fight through it. And of course, what do I say?
Fight through it. Huh?
Yeah, I'm not gonna spend more money on this tooth. So I sit there. She's got to put like a cold compress on it and like a cold. And this is like my.
You didn't numb it for like a crown and like all the drilling and stuff like that?
No. There's no more drilling. The tooth's already a nub.
Okay.
So what they're doing is now like just have a permanent.
Gluing it on there.
Right. They're gluing it on there, but the glue is cold. Everything's cold that they're using. They're using cold water. The wind's cold because now I have a nub in my mouth. It's like a little shitty nub tooth with like no enamel.
Probably
it's so painful. Like breathing it in like hurts. But I don't want to pay more money for like a $400 numbing shot or whatever it's going to be. So I just bite my teeth literally through it. It wasn't too bad actually.
It just sounds. Tooth pain is one of those terrible, terrible things.
It's all nerve.
It's all nerve, and it's all so sensitive, and you're like, why? I don't know what it is about. It's like it's just in there, like
right.
It's like in your personal space.
Yeah.
It's right up in there.
Yeah,
Hands are going in, drills are going in. Like it's just like
you have to hold your mouth open
drill
the
down
whole
on
time.
my foot all you want. I can't see that down
Right.
there. It doesn't feel like that's a part of me as much as like my mouth.
Right
like
here.
that's yeah.
And the tools never sound pleasant either. They're always like.
Right,
just like as
just
harsh as they can
just
be,
humming along.
And I just don't understand why I can regrow. If I lose all the skin on my kneecap, I can regrow skin on my kneecap. If I break an arm, for the most part, if it's a common break, that bone will reheal with a cast, and it'll be even stronger than it was before.
Not for the teeth, by the way.
Why can't the teeth figure it out? Either be insanely strong so you don't break, or give me more.
That's a good point because, dude, I chipped my tooth. I mean, this is terrible. No one should be biting their fingernails, but I have a terrible habit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally broke my tooth in half just biting my nails. I'm like, oh, shit, well, I'm only whatever, X amount age. I think I was like 27 at the time. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking 27. These teeth got to make it for at least another 30 years, maybe 40 years.
You don't, people are like, take care of your teeth. And you're like, why take care of my teeth so I don't get more cavities? No one says take care of your teeth because those like little chickens will start snapping at the age of 28.
They're gone. They're one-offs.
Right. And then you got to like get fake crowns put in. And you know what makes me feel shittier is when they make the crown and it's not white and it's like dingy yellow because your teeth are dingy yellow. And like, that one's too white. You got to take that out. Throw a shittier looking tooth in there too. Just going to the dentist is not fun at all.
No, it's not. It's not.
I mean, it's just the older you get, the less fun the dentist becomes.
I was just also ranting about the dentist a few pods ago because I had a similar situation. I had a cavity so big, we had to do like the temporary onlay, then the permanent one, then I had to go back in because it crumbled. It's just like, this is such a big pain in the ass, and it's expensive. Thank goodness the shots are covered because I don't know how you champ it through that, dude. It is so painful. Like, the drilling is awful.
There was no drilling. It was just cold compress and stuff.
I've gone through it. I had to like stop him. Like, whoa, hold on. Hold on a second.
I'm feeling everything you're doing.
I like, hold on a second. How much more drilling do we got? And they're like, we're close. I'm like, okay, well, is it 3 seconds of drilling or is it another minute? Because I cannot do another minute of this.
Right.
So I eventually just had to like stop them
entirely.
It's too much,
like,
dude. Even if it was like 15 seconds, I'm like, I'm sweating. Like, are you okay? I'm like, dude, there's perspiration coming out of my pores. Like, my whole face is red.
Okay.
Like, no, I'm in so much pain.
Right. Like, how are you not getting that every time you move to my tooth? I want to move away. Like, how you not catch that? I'm not good.
Right.
Also, numb me up.
Yeah,
if you're gonna numb me up, numb me up.
Right.
Like
get 3-4 shots in that thing.
Like, good until like 4:00. I want to start feeling my cheek again.
They're like, oh, you probably shouldn't eat for like another hour. I'm like, dude, great, fine. I just don't want to feel any of that shit. If you're gonna do it, let's go all the way.
Right. I want to watch, like, do you have a TV on the ceiling at your dentist?
I want to see half my face droop.
Yeah, I just want to look at my face. I want to look like I'm like a bulldog. You know what I mean? Just drool coming out of my mouth. I don't want to feel none of it, dude. But also what I want to forget is some of my golf rounds we had this weekend. Just the way I was playing on mainly putting. But we did all play some all-time golf this weekend.
I will say, and this is, I think it's more of a pleasant surprise, and we were both saying this, the coolest golf course
we've played so far.
We'll give you guys a little bit of a snippet, and if you didn't catch the last little bit of the episode, go watch it, go listen to it.
Yep.
Shout out Lucas Lamont because he is a member there, and he took us on to Trump National out in Palos Verdes, and boy, oh boy, was it a treat to go play that course.
It was all time. Thanks to Lucas. Really just awesome that he hooked us up there to go play with him.
It was fun just, going out with a fellow Hawk back in the day, playing a little bit of like a, past V-ball teammate,
Yeah,
like
it was awesome to see.
Bringing back some of those memories.
Busting out some old like stories we had going around together.
Yeah, it was really refreshing when he just went right up to you and said, "What up, Toodles?"
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, wow, that's bringing me back. And, I'll not what I go by really anymore, but I'm sure this will bring it back, which will be great. It was like an old high school nickname that just kind of caught fire.
It was Vicky that really brought it. That really brought it to
light. It was like
here.
my baby name, and I was in the car with a couple other buddies from volleyball, and we were talking about something, and I was making a couple jokes, and they were laughing, and I thought, oh, that was me. My mom's driving us. Like, I'm making them laugh. And I'm like, what? I didn't say that was that funny. Like, why are you guys laughing? And they're like, oh, we're laughing at your mom calling you Toodles. And I'm like, oh. Like, I didn't even, like, think of it. Like, think of, like, why she said that. I think she felt bad almost in the moment. But it just kind of stuck. Like, junior year of high school, it was like a volleyball chant.
It's not even really like a name, but it just kind of looks like it just fits for you.
Right. And it just worked. I don't know what it was. It just
the
stuck.
Personality really bolsters it in.
Yeah, and it was fine. Like, if you knew me in high school as that, like, that's fine. Like, you get it. You get the pass. Like, but if you weren't around for it, and you weren't there for that,
you can't start popping off toodles anymore. No.
It comes fine with Lucas, because Lucas was, he was the guy doing the chants with the other freshmen in the stands, toodle time before I served, hawk announcements over high school, toodles was being mentioned. I had a teacher call my roll attendance as toodles.
This nickname took over Laguna Hills volleyball and some of the school.
Anyone who basically knew me in sports besides
You became a different person when you were getting called toodles in sports.
Yeah, I really in volleyball,
not in basketball.
No,
you can't be rocking toodles at basketball.
No, volleyball though, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, also volleyball in our high school was just so bad. It was just so bad.
A little bit of a joke. Those are rough times. We can
move past
we can curb that.
But what was so why take that so seriously? Basketball was so much back then. I don't know if back then, junior, senior year, I loved basketball, but I don't know if I loved basketball.
It was a labor of love, isn't it?
Yeah, looking back at it now, I think I was I don't know if I ever really at that time I probably wasn't playing very much. My junior year, I was coming off the bench. I was 6th or 7th man, which was fine. I was playing.
Oh,
at least.
So you're talking junior, senior year.
Senior year was just I don't know if I even enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Senior summer, reignite the love for me for the last time with high school. Laguna Hills sports, besides wrestling and football, I guess now, figure it out. You guys suck. You have awful coaches. You can never hire. The
money is also the issue.
Right.
Money is such a big issue. It's tough. Because you can't hire any outside coaches because no one wants to do it because it's just so.
We had coaches that were good. We had Brian Mallon who wanted to coach.
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't get the job. Sargent, who was now running a very big travel basketball organization in Orange County.
Maybe we just bitch too much.
That too. The parents
because
leave it alone.
We were also bitching about Sargent and he was coaching.
I love Sargent.
I know, but there are people that hated him.
Really?
I thought so. I thought he was not universally loved.
Really? I thought Sargent... Yeah, that's true. When we have coaches, we just boo them out of there.
Everyone else, you're not going to, everyone's not going to love a coach because it's tough with playing times and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I don't know.
Timmy had, 4, 2 or 3 varsity coaches in his time span.
Yeah, that's tough because you're just recycling through. You just need someone that's going to get paid a decent chunk of money,
right?
That can play there, that can coach for 10 years.
You just need someone who wants to coach basketball, and you can give them extra money becoming a PE teacher.
Yeah.
Or a history teacher. And they just stay there forever because now they're tenured, they're making decent money, and they get to coach basketball. But anyways, back to what we really care about. Was at Rancho Palos Verdes round at Trump National, which, like we said, blew us away. My favorite course I've played. There's very few experiences in golf courses I've had where I'm through a certain amount of holes and I'm already getting bummed. Around hole 11, it's kind of on really good courses.
You were even saying earlier, you were hole 5. You're
right.
Wow, this is going by too fast.
Right. Around hole 5, I didn't. It was already going too fast for me because if it's on the water, the only hole that you don't see the water while you're playing is number 1.
And if you just do a 180 on the tee box, you're looking at the ocean.
Right. It's on the ocean.
I thought the layout was probably the most genius thing. Give our little shout out here to Pete Dye.
Classic Pete Dye.
Just doing it again. But the whole time, though, the way that's laid out is that hole 1 goes away from the water, and it's 400 up the hill, and then they have 4 rows of holes, and they descend down the hill, and they just lay 2 by 2, and then they flip around, and then they just end up going back and forth that way. And so you go out, and then the whole time you're coming into the water, and then on the back nine you kind of play along the coast more. But the whole time, you always have a view of the water. The water's always on your right or your left, every single hole.
Yeah, and it was obviously so Pete Dye, super tough, which if you have a home golf course, you're going to be a member somewhere at that price point. To me, I want a golf course that's extremely difficult with a lot of yards. That when I go play it, it's tough. It can't be like an easy track every time. Like Dove Canyon's another great example of this. But yeah, like, so there's few courses that I would say, like, by around hole 4, I started feeling that way. We played Masters. We played, like, first in, closest to.
Little bingo, bango, bongo.
Yeah, played a little bit of the drums. And it was just great. Like, the interior to me, like, awesome, super fun. Not like, I would say, my typical what I would look for like, interior of a clubhouse, but like the clubhouse items all time, the ball markers, everything there was great. The staff was awesome. The carts were great. The drinks were flowing nicely.
Yeah, they
had
were.
some great transfusions out on the course.
I did have a solid breakfast burrito as well. Like the kitchen was pretty solid.
Right. I think the only thing for me was like the interior of the club. If I'm being nitpicky, of the clubhouse was like.
And I think a lot of it has to do with maybe the space that they had there, because they built it like in a tight quarters and on the water. So there's not a lot that's going on there. So I feel you. Everything feel for me a little crammed. Didn't really feel like it was trying to be more, but it wasn't. So it should have just been simpler to me, I thought. But it was still trying to be prestigious. So I'm with you there.
Right. Maybe it's just because I'm.
You also have the Las Vegas Country Club pulling like in the back of your head.
Right. That's like I have like 3. Like Trump's a public, but it's like public-private because it's so priced out that you're not getting a lot of people to play it. Las Vegas Country Club and Dove Canyon. Like, I mean, to be honest, the interior was like great still. Like, I'm very nitpicky about what maybe things I didn't fully enjoy about it, but.
Dude, even the driving range was unbelievable.
On the water, all like grass, mats, driver, balls, walking up.
They had a staff member working the golf balls, like dishing out golf balls.
Yeah, and all he did was like, you remember? Here's a large. You're not a member? Here's a small. That was it. It was his whole job.
Right.
And just there's people walking the course. It's beautiful. The drive up to it from Orange County was awesome. It was just a really, really great experience.
If you haven't played it, I definitely think it's worth the $400, especially if you go.
Yeah, catch it on off time and off price.
Off time, and you go twilight, but you're still able to get an 18. Excuse me, you're still able to get an 18, and let's say it's $250 or $300. I don't know what prices are like, for the twilight rates, but I would 100% say that's worth it if you got that cash and you're looking to get a very memorable round in.
Yeah, if you don't want to go up to Pebble Beach to play on the ocean,
Pebble Beach is ridiculously expensive as well.
I don't know if there's many courses that are going to give you those type, like even like Pelican Hills. I hear like the North course is on the water, but it's not the whole time.
Yeah.
The South course, you don't give you the water the whole time. Monarch is very similar in that way. There's water and views, houses that are gorgeous. We saw like old school planes flying overhead that were doing like aerial tricks.
Yeah, it was insane.
Halfway through our round. But a little bit of the play was your boy had a good 6-7 hole stretch there where I was playing pretty well.
Really, really solid, dude. Really solid golf.
Which was really exciting. I had 2 birdies that round.
Well, you did actually win 3 Masters in a row.
I did. So popped on a lot of holes there, as one could guess.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, you still got to hit your golf shots, and like, there's plenty of areas to lose golf balls to fuck up all over the place.
Yeah, I was doing my classic like 260 cut. I was finding fairways, and then I was just picking right clubs, double clubbing up. Someone gave us a good tip there. They have a huge American flag. If it was at all wavering, like pretty like moving, but not like at 90 degrees, it's a club. And if it's pretty much 90 degrees, it's 2. Mm-hmm. And we just played off of that the whole time.
Yeah, it was a good little tip.
And it really, really did help. Greens were ridiculous. They were punched. But if they weren't punched, we could see how fast they were. I mean, rolling off of everything.
Extremely undulating as well. And there's like different tiers. And there's like...
the way he makes it like shape and move. Like when you look at a Pete Dye ball from behind, you think you have a read. and you step up next to that ball and the read goes away, and you're not a good enough golfer to know which one the right one is.
I was lost constantly on that
Constantly
golf course.
lost.
Do you remember how many 3-putts I had?
You said like 5.
I think it was
at
5
one point.
3-putts, dude. And it was like I would miss a putt. I would like hit a good approach shot to 35 feet. Very, very good. I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever.
No.
But then I would hit that 35-foot putt, and I would leave it 8 feet away. And I would misread it and misjudge the pace. But like it's more about just the misread.
Right.
Like I would hit it, let's say 5 feet right, because I thought it was going to be a big swinger, and it just stayed out there. Never ever came back. Because I've never had the ocean actually play into that much of a factor before. Like, yes, like, you know, when everything breaks towards the canyon. Okay, yeah, it does, but it's not, I didn't feel it as much as I did with the whole ocean situation. I've never, like,
you
seen it
just
as
need
much as that.
like, if you're putting like a straight putt, and it's like, there's no way this isn't straight, everyone's saying it's straight, and you putt it, it would shade to the left if you're putting it towards the ocean. And like, there was a couple times where I putting it, I'm like, that shouldn't have gone left. And then I go over it and I refeel it, and I'm like, yeah, it kind of goes left, but like, there's no way I would have. Like, I mean, I felt it, I looked at it, and there was nothing there. But that's just, you know, classic Pete Dye.
It was a Pete Dye, and the ocean just really, really was messing with me. Is that like the 3-putting was brutal. Like it's so demoralizing. I had to look for eagle from like 15 feet, dude, and I walked out of there with par. You know?
Yeah.
That was devastating. It was like hole 2.
I had an eagle look for
damn.
like 10 feet, I think.
Yeah, you had another and it was like up the hill. We tapped in for bird.
Tapped in for bird.
But he hit driver hybrid. You'd like knock this thing like 210 or something like that right to the front. It was beautiful.
I mean, I was playing some good golf, and of course, the wheels always come off the bus at some point for your boy.
A little bit.
That's why the swing change is going to be happening. Catch your boy, swing change 2023. Tommy Swaim is going to become a power ball hitter again.
Dude, I feel like this is the best thing for your game because you've done everything that you possibly can for your game that doesn't involve a swing change.
And it's time. But anyways, that's going to be touched on later. You played some, you know, at the beginning you were struggling a bit. You know, we both were. And then you really just started to turn it on a bit.
A little bit at the end.
Yeah.
You gave me a little bit of a tip on my ball position, and I feel like I need to really be very, very conscious of this. And one, I'm hoping that maybe I can make a little bit of a swing change so my ball position is like, let's say, a half a ball or like 3/4 of a ball off from where I feel like it is. That maybe this new swing feel will like potentially just kind of write it out, because I have a tendency to get very flippy with my hands. So if my ball position isn't perfect, then I either hit big blocks or big hooks with my irons, which is really unfortunate, and that's how I lose golf balls. But I do need to actually just help myself out a little bit, orient the ball in the same position for every single club, and I'll have a better chance of success, because you were telling me like my driver was like in the middle of my stance, and I'm like, dude, there's no way. But like, you know, when I put it on my big toe,
your left foot.
On my left foot, yeah, it feels like it's out there. So maybe I am like, you know, in the middle of my stance more. I just got to be more cognizant of it. And especially with the long irons, I made a slight adjustment, just moving it like a ball more forward. I just like ripped a 4-iron like 220 into the wind, like through the back of the green.
Right. And I think, you know, for people who are new to golf too, and like the more you get into golf and the deeper you dive, the more things you realize like you haven't even thought about how important they are. Like right now, it's like ball position. Like if you don't know where the ball position is, where you're standing at, it's a huge deal. If you watch the tour players, drivers almost big toe or even farther than that, and the way you lean your shoulders and how high you tee it, the game just gets so much knowledge that needs to be passed on to people that it's like too much to bite down on.
It's also a lot, even when you do know the game, I find myself kind of chasing, you know, the circle a little bit of like, okay, I need to practice on this, and then I end up just doing a big circle all the time, and I'm like, okay, now I got to then I find myself, you know, going back and touching on my grip again. I'm touching on my ball position again because I've been doing so much of other things. It's just, you're constantly trying to chase, you know, this good feeling, uncomfortable feeling, and it working feeling.
Yeah, and it's just because even pros don't.
They have to go back and check setup and check, 3-foot takeaways at times.
Right,
it gets
and
a little bit haywire.
oh, I don't like the way this feels when I'm in this position. Well, the only reason why that's going to be changed is if you do X swing change. And it's just this game you keep chasing, and that's why golf is beautiful, but at the same time, just like...
It's maddening at times.
Like, I'm never, going to be in a place where it feels great. It might feel great for a round. It might feel great for a half a day.
Yeah.
It might feel great for even a weekend.
Because this weekend, coming off of the bachelor party weekend, I felt like I figured out my golf game, and I was going to just shoot nothing but 81 and to 77 from here on out. And then I step up there to Trump National, and I card a 90, given it's a tough conditions and a tougher golf course.
Windy,
it's longish, really tough greens,
narrow.
I get that. But at the same time, I just felt like I didn't have anything out there. I couldn't really strike anything. I was really misreading everything, and I just really didn't have it. So it's just really frustrating, and I just gotta
when you go to
keep
big
chipping
rounds.
Away.
Yeah, when you go to big rounds like that and you don't have it, it's one of the most frustrating things in golf.
Thank God you got those 18 holes of just ocean view though, because
everything's fine after that.
I shook it off, no problem.
Yeah, we played with some great, Lucas and Hayden. They were great guys, and it was just an all-time round. It's the number one on my list on my top 5. I have the top 5 is becoming pretty elite from what we've played. And I'm really excited to just keep adding to this list. It's also another fun part about it, fun part about it. If you're just not playing great golf, just at the same time, just who cares? You don't play enough.
Yeah, we don't play enough
to try to
we don't practice enough.
Right.
We're not getting paid to do it. We're paying to do it.
You do a really good job of trying to enjoy when you're not playing well, and I do too. And I think it can go away from you. We're all human. If you're playing really shitty and you're paying a bunch of money to go do it, and it's something you've been looking forward to, it's hard not to be bummed.
Totally.
But, try to be human about it and understand you're with your buddies and just have another cocktail and you'll be fine.
It's also, I feel like a lot of it is you got to manage your expectations on the golf course.
It's huge.
You have to, I know we've touched on it before, but again, especially if you're not playing well, it's factoring in all of those things where you don't practice that much. And, I'm a 22 handicap golfer. I can't be upset if I triple bogey 2 or 3, 4 holes.
That's what you're going to do.
That's who you are. Sorry. I'm a whatever. Let's call me an 8. If I double 2 holes, that's not uncommon for me. Double 3 or 4 holes, that's not uncommon for me.
I can double 2 aside.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm at 14. That's my game.
So I think a lot of it is managing your expectations, and also I was just having this thought as well. You're not always going to have your A game, whatever your A game is. You're not always going to have it. Just like you have a bad shooting day in basketball, just like a pitcher in the MLB can't find the strike zone for whatever reason. And it's just it just doesn't
doesn't click.
Something's not working for you that day, and it happens. You got to manage through that a little bit. That's the beauty of golf, is that maybe if your driver isn't working, you can just try to change it up a little bit. Maybe take a hybrid, take driver, bash it down there, but then just be okay just working the ball and try to recover from there. Right,
because there's always some part of your game that's working.
Right.
There's always something in golf. There's parts of it, great about pitching. You don't have the stuff, you can't pitch. Basketball, if you can't shoot the basketball, you're kind of going to get yanked off the court.
Mm-hmm.
Golf, if a club's not working, you just be I'm just not touching the driver today.
I used to, when I was coaching as well, so sometimes you'd have a bad hitting game. Sometimes you're physically maybe you're not feeling well in your legs, or you're just having a really hard time tracking the volleyball passing. If you're having a problem in any of those areas, just elevate your other areas that you're doing better and just cover up that thing. Just basically just brush it aside. Right.
Yeah, if you can't drive the ball but you're putting the lights out, be okay, I'm just going to give myself a shot at putting right now by just getting every mid-iron to the green. Doesn't matter where I'm out on the green.
Just 40 feet.
Just get me to 40 feet and I'm going to 2-putt this thing home. And, just try to elevate, like you said, it's a great point. Elevate the parts of your game that you are playing well in.
Mm-hmm. And then play your miss.
Yeah.
I started doing that. I started playing my miss.
Yeah, because we also played this Sunday at Miles Square for a individual skins match, which is, just us versus the rest of the field. Classic stroke play event. Skins are, if you win a hole, the lowest score in the tournament, you get money from it. Mm-hmm. So it's just a good little way to cash out for us some little extra dough for the week.
Yeah, it is nice. And I do want to touch on a little bit. I was having a hard time getting into the round at Miles Square, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it was probably because I started off double-double. Probably. Yeah. But I think also maybe it was because of Trump National was just unbelievable the day before.
Yeah, kind of like dampered.
I had a little bit, I eventually flipped the switch. I'm like, okay, let's get it going here. Like, it was like by hole 7 or 8, I started like turning it around a little bit.
I just like it, I have to remind myself, also we've been playing a lot of golf.
We have.
We played all weekend last weekend. We played 2 weekends ago, your bachelor party weekend. We played all weekend this past weekend. We're playing golf next week. Like, it's just a lot of golf this weekend for a long time and multiple days in a row.
Yeah.
Great problem to have, but at some point, you get a little like, okay, I'm playing golf, but, I'm excited about it, but maybe you burn out of it just a smidge or a skosh.
That could be the reason. But at the same time, though, I felt like I had a hard time, like, competing. And I was really trying to work my way into this round, and like it just like wasn't happening fast enough for me, is what I felt like.
You wanted to come out par, and then get yourself momentum going.
Yeah, I mean, I had such like, again, I was managing the expectations. I did not do that very well because we were talking it up. Trump National was so difficult because of the wind, how narrow it was, and just because of the greens, undulations, bunkers were just carpeted all over the place.
Yeah,
and like not just shallow bunkers, like fairway bunkers, and I can't even see over them. Just like you have to go play out sideways. It's crazy.
It's just like you said, it's just a different level of course.
Yeah. And so coming back out to Miles Square, I'm like, oh, we're gonna come out here and dominate because we just played an unbelievably difficult round in tough conditions.
Yeah, it's like going to play basketball in like downtown LA. And you're coming back to Orange County, California, and you're going to pick up a basketball and play against, You're going
to be walking like a god.
Right. You're just like, wow, I'm in a different level here. Mm-hmm. And we just didn't, I came out, played okay.
I thought your front nine was pretty immaculate. You shot 41 on the front.
Yeah, I played
pretty good.
I played one double and that was it, and the rest were bogeys and pars. Lots of like birdies, nothing dropped.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Putter never worked the whole round.
You just gotta have. That's the one thing is that you can have like a bad round. That's what I started to do, and I was just like, you know what? It's time to just roll in some birds. Try to get a couple of these puppies.
Yeah, get some money.
Yeah,
and you did. You got like 2 birds, which were great.
Birds.
I think ones you popped, so that's good. You probably get some money there. It was a fun round. I really enjoyed playing in another like little men's club with us, little men's event. We have one more coming up with a scramble here, and then we'll qualify for our club championship. But it was a good round. I mean, like the putter was not working for myself at all, which I missed like 2 really easy putts. The greens were punched, so there was some inconsistency with the rolling on a lot of these putts as well. So I will chalk it up. I will use that as an excuse.
100% on 18. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch it fully, but I saw in the corner of my eye what was going on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just bullshit. Like you're a foot away, and you don't hit it firm enough, and like this thing literally just takes a 90-degree turn.
You like hit a bump and like knocked it like way off a line. That's my fault. God, I know I need to bang it to the back of the cup. But at the same time, it's like, I'm 2 feet away. I shouldn't have to put this a foot past.
Yeah.
For me to try and make this, but it is what it is. Those will heal over. It, thank God it wasn't for like a tournament for us or a men's club.
You shot 86, and so if the putter was not working, which is usually the strongest part of your game,
it has. And how crazy is that? Like golf last year, if you would ask me my strongest part of the game, it was my driving and putting. And now my putting is absolutely gone, and now the strongest part of my game is my my driving and
irons
and mid and low to wedges.
Yeah,
like
I would definitely say your putting isn't gone. It's just consistent for where you're at, and you just made a big jump because you were just never making a lot of 6-footers and 8-footers, and now you're making half of those.
Right,
and you're never missing within 3.5 or 4 feet, hardly ever.
Right. Well, that one summer when I was balling out, now I'm getting over a 4-footer, and there's some question marks. Like last year, I felt like if I had a 4-footer, I might as well just throw it between my legs. It was going in.
You know what's funny? I don't know why this popped in my head, but you were like, it was a little bit. You were always asking like professional like golfers, why do they like change like their grips? Why do they change why are they changing putter heads all the time? It's like if they don't feel like they're doing well. You're like you're going through like a putter grip arm situation where you're like trying to get a different feel for your putting right now.
Right. That's like because you feel like whatever was working isn't working anymore. You lost the touch of it. You lost confidence in it, which is so crazy because it was
weird,
working.
Right?
It was working before. Like basketball players hardly ever go through full shooting changes.
Yeah, you just shoot your way out of it. Right.
Normally, if you know how to shoot properly, like they're not going to say JJ Redick to his like shot, be like, you gotta change you might have to release it quicker because now you're in a new setup. You have to learn how to shoot the ball a certain way because you're coming off of screens. But no one's like, yo, your whole shooting is bad. Like Lonzo Ball had to go through a full shooting remake. Like there's very few people like that. But in putting, like people will go cross hand, long putters, short putters,
claw grip, like
tabletops, and it's like you got to the tour with a certain putting style that was proven.
Just keep it there.
Just keep doing it.
Right.
But they can't because they lose something with it. And it just like, and their statistics to prove like, yo, your putting has significantly gotten worse. You have to change something.
Maybe that's where the statistics pop up and you're like, that's where it starts playing some of that mental confidence game.
Right. You're not making it within 5 footers or whatever. And now I get it because I had to change the way my, the way I like hold my arms because whatever way I was doing it before just seemed like I was having very inconsistent strikes when my putting started to go poorly. Like it wasn't feeling more natural. So I needed something a bit more rigid to help me through when my putting isn't too great. And now I have a bit more of a rigid putting
stroke.
Now
you're trying to get more flow back in your your putting stroke.
And now I'm trying to add that flow and that touch back, but I had to like add this like stone. And I'm now trying to chisel this stone away to be something that I want it to look like. But it's so funny because it worked last year. We were talking about in our men's club event last year, 9 to 10 feet away, we were looking to make it. And that was like, that's not the case right now.
Yeah, it's so strange how you go through those ups and downs.
Like I'm 10 feet, I'm like, yeah, hopefully I get it close. Like 10 feet last year, I'm like, I might bang this to the back of the cup for an egg.
For sure. And there was, I just really remember the 2-day tournament, the club championship that we were doing and playing in last year. We were putting the lights out of it when we both won our flights. I don't like if, we had putts from 5 feet and in. We probably made 85% of them for both rounds.
And the other ones were like lip outs. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I just missed that.
Yeah, for sure. And so it's just kind of crazy how you're kind of going through a little bit of that phase, that little bit of a change-up. But, yeah, buddy, I thought you played really well this past weekend as far as keeping it in play and managing your game really well. That's just like you've gotten to that point where everything is really consistent. And you kind of know how to get it done, even when it's not perfect.
Yeah, I'm at this point where I'm thankful. Like, I think I've done enough research on my game to like kind of know how to shoot golf. Obviously, I'm not perfect, and I can definitely get better. But for like a level player of my current caliber, like that's what's gotten me this low. And for me to take this next huge jump to get below double digits has to be a swing change.
Yeah. I don't remember where I was at when I started back in.
Then you got hot.
Yeah. I mean, I could still put it together at times. Like if we're really looking back and I'm going to pick out my best round where I was really striking it, that would be Papago, where I 4-putted 3 times and I 4-putted once and shot 79.
You were balling.
So my tee to green was just insane.
Yeah, and that's unreal for you. The course is extremely difficult as well. That was one of the best you could play it. I mean, you're kind of going through a swing change right now as well.
Still a little bit. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not making like as big of like a mental focus on that swing change right now.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a major rehaul what I was trying to do like a few years ago.
Right.
What would you think I was back 3 years ago, like handicap wise?
12, 13?
3-4 years ago? Back like when we were playing like Palm Springs. You think I was I'm an 8 now. So
Yeah, maybe like a 16?
Probably. Because that was also not competitive. We weren't carding competitive golf either. So
you were probably a 16 then, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I would always shoot 90s.
Right,
like
always.
Upper 80s, 86, 88.
Yeah, you got like a 86, 85 one time at Skylinks, and we thought you were a professional golfer, which is, I mean, still great round of golf for someone who like didn't at that point take it too seriously.
So I think a swing change for you could, if like it's going to take maybe a couple years to fully get your your grips on it, but you could drop your swing.
I've got to do it in a year.
I think you can drop 6-7 strokes, dude, from your game pretty easily if you have that overhaul. You're going to get more distance, and you're going to get more control. And you're going to add more shots to your game. So you're going to if you are in trouble, you're going to have more recovery shots.
Yeah. I shot, like you said, I shot an 80 what again?
86.
86, and you shot a
83.
83, and you shot a...
Yeah, it was rough, dude. My front was a 45.
Yeah, which is not...
With a birdie.
Ooh, yeah. Not good for you. 45 for me, I'm like, okay, that wasn't great for me, but that's still...
Yeah, 45.
Within my wheelhouse.
45 is really, really difficult to stomach.
And you got yourself a little glizzy.
Yeah, a little glizzy, a little bit of a refresher. I don't know. I think I just like hit a little bit of a mental reset. You
came out and you pushed one way left off the tee. Then you slapped it down the left side of the fairway. You put it on the green. You 2-putt for par, and you were out of there, and you were on and rolling from there on in.
Sure was. Yeah, I ended up shooting a 38 on the back, which is great. Which is great
with another bird too.
Yep, just dropped in like a 35-footer.
Easy. It was sick. It was fun to watch you kind of click back into like, oh, I'm going to play some golf now, and see you make that mental switch and end up beating me. Where I had the other switch, where I like almost, I don't know, because I've scored card watched a couple times when I put something together. So I told myself I wasn't going to do that this time, and took my foot completely off the gas. Instead, I'm just going to keep playing my game, I think, and didn't like keep trying to like play consistently paced, talked out golf. I was like, I'm feeling it. Let me just run with it.
Yeah, dude, there was a couple of shots, and I even called you out on it a couple of times. Like, dude, you hit that
so
like
fast,
15 seconds faster than you should have. You literally grabbed a club, stood over it, swung. It was kind of like almost like a Trent moment in a way, where like we're a Frankie moment. If we're watching, like if you guys are watching the foreplay videos, the breaking Frankie and the breaking Trents on foreplay, it's good stuff. But that's what we're referencing. It kind of felt like it was a like Trent moment or like a Frankie moment where you just didn't really have a clear thought out plan
of what I was going to do. I saw a number I liked. I just stood up there and I slapped something awful up there, and it just wasn't ever going to get that done. So that's just another lesson learned. I'm very excited to get back out there. We're probably not going to be able to play it until January, April, May, June. I think our next tournament is.
That is a June, and that's our 2-man scramble, baby.
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. We're going to have drinks flowing for that.
Also, we don't have a tournament next month because it's senior tournament.
Yeah, I'm going to have to email them about that because that's crazy to me. If you want me to pay full price and you're taking a full month of golf away from me, and I still have to pay for everybody else's the same price.
It's a little whack.
It's a little crazy. Like I get we're like probably some of the youngest dudes out there, but like at least let like us play for a discounted rate with you guys, or let like every young kid do, baby championship. I don't know what you guys want to call it.
Yeah, you can do. You could do the senior appreciation one day. and then just host a regular individual
Or
tournament
just do it
one
at the
day.
same time and just separate them out.
Yeah.
Like, and just do like young versus old and see who ends up coming to the better score or something. And you could do your senior championship still.
Just feels weird, you know?
It's just like, oh, okay, cool. There goes a full month of whatever we were going to do. But that's no big deal. Something I really want to jump on quickly here is some playoff basketball right now with the Lakers beating the Grizzlies on the first game. And John Morant, I don't know what's up with his hand. He might be out the rest of the series, possibly.
Yeah, it looked like he was having a wrist issue with his right wrist.
Yeah, he landed on it weird after getting, not taking a charge. He ran to somebody. AD took a charge, and they look great, man. I mean, Austin Reeves might be that guy. I don't know.
Dude is cold with it right now. And when you have, like, Lonnie Walker that's not even touching the floor and, like, D'Lo's coming off the bench, it's like we got a squad on our hands.
Right. I think D'Lo coming off the bench, he's just struggling with, like, injuries or something, so maybe they're resting him. Because I do think Schroeder's playing really, really, really good basketball right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, Schroeder wasn't in the fourth quarter. It was D'Lo. Austin Reeves basically just said, AD, I know you're a first ballot Hall of Famer, but hold this. LeBron, you might be the best basketball player of all time. Hey, hold this and just watch me cook whole fourth quarter.
I'm going to lock up this game for us.
I mean, he made like a 3 around the back pass to Rui, who hit it. He did like cross the defensive player of the year to the floor, hits a left-hand layup there for a goaltend, puts a man off his back, another layup.
He's one of those point guards that has complete control of the game. When the ball is in his hands, no other defenders can really deter him for what he's doing.
He's the perfect screen and roll guy for AD and LeBron. He can hit the 3, he can dribble it, and he has a high enough basketball IQ to pass it to where it needs to go at the right time.
He's also super crafty for his mid-range game, too.
Yeah, he has a good floater. He also can stop and run into you and always gets a shot for an and one. He always keeps defenders on his back when he's dribbling, which is just like a sheer talent. It was just really fun to watch the Lakers beat the Grizzlies because, one, I don't like the Grizzlies at all, and two, just to see them play well and prove some people wrong. LeBron does not look great, though. He looks like he had he still put up 20-something points. But the ball control from him was just not great.
Yeah, had a couple of turnovers that were really shocking.
So I think that was a big, big win for the Lakers going late into that game. Especially away
for
game.
The boys, yeah, away game. That's what I wanted to say. Big win. You have to get one in order to win the series. So just getting that monkey off the back first game, and like kind of just proving to themselves, I think that could actually go a long way. It's a huge boost for Reeves and Rui to really go out there and like really put their stamp on a game.
We got Rui for Kendrick Nunn and a bag of potato chips.
Just like what a steal.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Rob Pelinka pulled something out of his hat. I was calling for that man's job. He's keeping it right now. We definitely need, more pieces next year to really build something special. But we really got a team on our hands, and I think people are underestimating the Lakers right now. I really, really do. There's not a team right now as deep on the bench as us, and we are all somewhat healthy.
What's going on with Tristan Thompson?
Yeah, so
the Lakers signed him, right? Was it just like for a short contract, like a month-long contract or something like that?
He'll be with us through the whole playoffs.
Is he just working out right now?
I think so. Mo Bamba, who is our backup center, because we lost Thomas Bryant this year to the Nuggets, and because he wanted more minutes, so he went to the Nuggets to go sit behind Jokic the whole game,
which makes a ton of sense.
No idea why he would. I think the Lakers.
I think he just got traded there,
which is great because I love that for the Lakers. They're like, cool, you want to play more? Here are the Nuggets. And
play 12 minutes behind Joker.
Yeah, go have fun with that. Where AD actually genuinely needed the breaks and the runs. If we had Thomas Bryant, we might win the championship this year.
He was rock solid.
Balled out for us.
We need Tristan Thompson,
but Mo Bamba was hurt, and Mo Bamba is an okay backup. and he hasn't played very much. And I think Tristan Thompson was brought in because, one, he used to play with LeBron. He's a championship winner. He knows LeBron's system. I think he's coming in to bring in a bit more professionalism to like maybe some of the younger guys. And also maybe if Mo Bamba has to go into the game, it's another level of coaching from a center who maybe can help him out a bit more.
That's a good point.
Like, hey, you can't guard this guy this way. You have to guard him this way. It's a little bit more maturity. He can maybe watch over some of these guys. And also, if you need him to come in to like lock a defender up, he can still play some D. Yeah, I haven't seen him play in forever. But I think it was it's just a free bench spot, so might as well take a shot. They play again this Wednesday, game 2. I'm gonna say Lakers sweep.
You're gonna say Lakers sweep,
especially if John Morant's hands out.
Okay, yeah. If John Morant is out, then yeah, I can definitely piggyback off you there and just say it's gonna be a sweep.
Even with John Morant, I don't think they win a game. If Steven Adams is on the court, now we have issues. Because now Steven Adams can lock up 80, or Jared Jackson can lock up somebody.
He's always in foul trouble, too. Yeah. So, then you have Steven Adams coming in. It's not really a break.
No. You could figure out how they can flip it up. Both of them are strong. Both of them good offensively. Both great, amazing defensively. So your 4 and your 5, you might as well just count them out for the game. And our biggest asset's AD. So you take him out of the game for us. We got LeBron, and now we have a bigger bench. But Steven Adams brings an extra little factor to that team. But yeah, man.
Looking forward to Wednesday and checking out that game. It's going to be a good one.
Watch the RGC as well this weekend. Big shout-outs to Matt Fitzpatrick with his classic 9-iron for the dub on the third hole playoff.
Yeah, you know what my favorite part was? Is when Amanda Renner asked him how that 9-iron felt. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, it's just another 9-iron.
Yeah, he's like, I've done that multiple times. Won a U.S. Open with it. Essentially, I put this thing out here and it just works. Great tournament to watch. What a cool course. Some great stories that are coming out of it. I didn't know Fitzpatrick used to vacation there as a kid.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. He was going there from England with his family to go and watch that tournament on vacation. I was like, that's so cool.
So cool. That's such a cool story. Also, there's nothing that makes my wife fall asleep faster than golf on the TV. I had basketball on, her game ended. I flipped it to the last 5 or 6 holes of the RGC, and she was asleep within 2 minutes. Which is fine. I'm watching golf and vibing. But buddy, go ahead and break down how we did in the RGC this week and moving on to the Zurich Classic.
Yeah, dude. Well, you put together a pretty good roster here for the last picks. But there was one little hiccup. You picked Ryan Fox, and he had to unfortunately withdraw, I believe, in the middle of the first round or something like that with a back or wrist injury or something. So yeah, what we ended up doing is dropping. Obviously, Tommy dropped Ryan Fox, and then I got to drop a player of my choice, so the guy who finished in last. So I believe the numbers were I got 46 or something like that overall, and you got 36. And now you're slotted in 4 slots right behind me, so I'm 35, you're 39th overall.
Coming hot with 2 back-to-back dubs. I picked up, so that means I got first pick for Zurich.
Yeah, you did.
And if anyone hasn't known the Zurich, it's a 2-man event. It's a switch between alternate shot and best ball. And it's not a super popular tournament, but there are some players here. So the first team picks are going to be huge for people. And with my first pick, I went with Homa Morikawa. I think those guys are due for one. I think that'd be a fun duo just to see them just with wedges and slapping it around and giving each other reads on putts. I think it's really going to help them both out a bit more. So I'm going to go with those 2 guys. Then following up with my mid-tier pick, I went with someone who just won a tournament. I'm riding strictly off of his play alone, which is the Fitzpatrick brothers. He's playing with his brother. I don't know his brother's name.
Which, by the way, it's so cool how they're both going to be playing in this tournament
together.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be a really fun tournament to watch. Again, it's these tournaments that golf don't...
they don't publicize it.
Right, 2-man event coming up. They're playing with their friends and their family. It's a good, nothing about that matters, and no one ever talks about it. But It is what it is. And then I went with Higgins, and I can't even read my own writing from here. 1 second.
You went with Harry Higgs?
Smotherland?
Yeah,
Smotherland. He's going to smother that golf ball, Smotherland. I don't know who Smotherland is.
And Harry Higgs.
And Harry Higgs.
There we go.
My two boys there, they're going to bring me home a quick, easy dub. I don't feel great about my last pick, and I think there's not much there.
The field was a little dry.
So I'm hoping my first two come through solid. What are your three here, buddy?
Yeah, so I started off again, like it was the top group here, and just visually it just looks like it's going to be could be a lock for the tournament. I believe they're the defending champions, and that's Cantley and Shoffley. So two guys that just can really just hit the ball well, tee to green, and can roll it. Mm-hmm. They just win constantly on the PGA Tour. Then I went with a group that has a lot of experience on their team, and I'm assuming they're buddies. That's probably why they're playing with each other. But that's Brandon Todd and Pat Kazire. Just picking strictly on names alone. I know Brandon Todd actually kind of like refound his swing a couple years ago because he was basically going to be off the PGA Tour. Kind of like rebuilt himself. Still hits it like 260 off the tee. So he kind of just babies it on down there for a tour pro.
Like me.
You got tour level distance.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
Call yourself that. And then rounding it out here, I thought this was interesting, and I just saw the last names. But again, a guy you haven't seen in a long time, but former number one player in the world, Luke Donald.
Ooh.
Paired up with a very formidable player that of Francesco Molinari, but it's his brother Eduardo Molinari that I picked. So it's that's my little pairing there to round up the roster. Feel really good about the one slot, and then anything can happen with the 2 and 3 picks. Who knows? But I think really what we wanted to do is it's a fun tournament. So why
different?
Not?
Watch it.
Yeah, we only tune in for like the Ryder Cup and President's Cup, but like there's the Zurich that's also really fun to watch, and it's just a good
preview to see what the President's Cup and the Ryder Cup could be with the top golfers in the world.
It's a good little it's a fun tune-up, and it's a fun way to watch golf. So something a little different.
All right, bud. Well, we're going to go to everyone's favorite part of the podcast here, the one that creates the most buzz. We're going 3 worst. And you know what? There's some parts of this weekend that drive me crazy in a golf round. And I thought, what a great time to bring up the 3 worst things about a golf round. This could be anywhere from losing a golf club on the previous hole and having to go back to the pro shop starter sucking. Anywhere in between on a golf round that could happen. Where the 3
out of hot
worst
dogs.
things.
So I mean, you name it. You can anything about a golf course. So 3 worst things.
And I think you let off last week, so I'm going to take this week, buddy. And I just kind of gave away my honorable mention because I just thought I wanted to throw that out there. But when you leave a club, a head cover, whatever, on the previous hole, and you have to drive back, or your playing partner did it, and they have to drive back, there is nothing worse than you having to like admit that or waiting for that person to figure out the mistake they made. And then there's the stress of, is it there? Now we're playing behind. Where, like, are they even going to find it? How, what's going on?
You just hope that it's actually
there.
The last hole, not 3 holes ago.
Right. And then you don't know. Then that's like your mental shock because you feel bad for your partner. And, it's just a bad setup. Then coming into my number 3 spot here, we got awful food and drinks at a golf course.
Wow. That's a little early. I didn't think that was even going to make it on there.
Yeah, I think if you have like a really shitty bar and kitchen, and I'm having a mid-afternoon round, you don't have a good hot dog, and
that's kind of a letdown.
You can't make like a Coke, you don't have any good Coke or like sodas or
like a Gatorade.
Like I got like Glacier Freeze is all I got for you. Like, okay, cool, but I want. Whatever, you don't got candy bars. You don't have you just don't have anything. I got cookies and I got Mountain Dew. And you're like, thanks, I'm good. I'll just die. But mainly like the cocktails suck. They like pour them soft. They're not strong.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I'm at with that.
You know, I feel you. I think a lot of these we're going to be in agreement of.
Yeah. When you are trying to lay up a golf shot and you take the smart, calculated approach and you flub a layup, like you take a good shot, you don't take the aggressive one that probably puts you in trouble, you decide to play smart, and you flub a layup shot, there is not a worse feeling, like, besides my number one spot in golf. Like, that is so blood-boiling. You guys might as well just gone for it. Because what's the, like, lesson in life, you might as well just shoot because, like, you don't know what's going to happen. But in golf, you can't play it that way sometimes. And you have to lay it up. And then if you don't lay it up well, like...
You feel like a jackass.
Right. Another metaphor for life.
Hanging out. Like, you're just like, wow, that was awful.
Yeah. Now I'm nowhere, and I'm one shot back. And then my number one most hated thing, which happened a lot to me, especially on hole 17 and 18, are missing gimmies. Like, I'm talking 2 footers, 3 footers. Not where your friends say, hey, you're good, but, like, you're playing in a tournament event and it, like, lips out like a 2-footer. You're like, that's a stroke. Can't not talk about that. You have to do this, like, awkward, oh, no, it's fine.
Awkward joke. Like,
that was great. Oh, no, I guess we're on to the next one.
Not again.
Oh, and you have to do this, like, lie to yourself. I just find it embarrassing and not embarrassing, but I just find it, like, annoying. Like, I'm like, wow, I can't just put a 2-footer in. That's my round of the day. But anyways, that's my 3 worst.
That's a great number one.
That's my 3 worst.
Surprisingly, I don't have a lot. I don't have any of yours really.
That's great. I think that's why this works great for us, because I don't know if we have anything similar when it comes to 3 top, 3 worst.
No, we don't. We're on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. But
right.
I think a lot of these you're gonna actually.
It's gonna be hard for you to fuck this one up. It's gonna be hard for you.
I might find a way though.
You might be like, you know what? I hate when the sun's shining. And
honorable mention, cold golf. Now,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it for you.
No, my honorable mention, I'm gonna. I did have this in the back pocket here, but it's screwing up the layup shot, and it happened to me this weekend. And it was a 280-yard, 70-yard par 4, and it kind of had just like water on the left. And I pulled out 5-iron to hit it in the middle of the fairway, and I yeeted that thing out of bounds. I was so heated, and all 3 of you guys turned to me like, you should have hit driver. Like, yeah, you think?
Yeah.
You don't think I just had that same thought? I'm ripping myself a new one. I just suck, and I can't put a 5-iron anywhere in play out there.
Yeah, I get that. That's rough.
Not even fatting it. It's more about just it's gone.
Yeah, like
that's the infuriating part for me.
Like, you can't even play golf anymore.
Yeah, so that's my honorable mention, and this is a 3 that I think maybe it gets. I need to be better at this, and I'm making it a little bit of a call out because this bothers me far too much for things that, like, I normally don't bother me too much. But it's the, like, menace of a marshal that will not
that really
leave
gets
you
dude.
alone. It fucks me up.
It boils your blood, dude.
I could do just about anything on a golf course. Hit 2 golf balls in the water, and I'm fine. I'm like, oh, I just hit 2 shitty shots. But if the marshal says a goddamn word to me when we're waiting on tee boxes, I am letting this man. I'm not actually, like, letting him have it, but, like, in my head, I am cursing this man. I am hoping that his cart dies and his walkie-talkie's dead, and he's got to push this bitch back.
He's stuck in the Arizona desert. And
I hope the worst for this guy. Maybe that rant will, like, cool me off a little bit, but damn, that really grinds my gears.
Yeah, we had a marshal on us in Arizona that would not leave us alone. Twice came up to us and we're like, dude, no one behind us is waiting. And, like, we just waited on this par 3 for somebody else. Like, I get maybe we're playing a little slow, but, like, not by that much.
Yeah, it's just because the pace thing on the cart is saying that we're 7 minutes slow.
We got a hot
doesn't mean that we're actually 7 minutes behind. We might be waiting for the other people that are also 7 minutes behind. Every pace of play is just off. Plus, it's a hole 10. If it's hole 10, we just got a hot dog at the turn. We'll play a little quicker for our next 4 shots, and we'll be right back up on the next hole.
And then he left us alone. We all went par on that par 3. We started rolling through it at that point.
Maybe he just sparked a little bit of extra like juice in me, but damn, that really gets under me.
Really grinds your gears.
Because what are you doing out there, Marshall? What are you doing? What are you doing
besides boiling your blood?
I get it. Maybe you got to make sure like people aren't crashing the golf carts. Okay, but like if people are still just minding their own business and they're playing golf and they're actually like decent players, just like, say what's up, crack a joke, and let's move on. Don't say anything about our pace of play or don't give us any shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I get you.
It's just the entitlement for me, I think, is what they see. They have Marshall or like Ambassador on their cart, and it really just
I just don't know how you tell somebody kindly, hey, you're playing too slow, because nobody likes it. It kind of fucks everybody's round up. Be like, hey, boys, you just like going off of what I gotta tell you, gotta pick it up. Like,
leave it at that. That's good.
Right. Like, you guys are doing fine.
If you are in the right to say that, I don't have a problem with you.
Right.
It's where the marshals are coming out of their way to make it feel like they're the ownership of this course, and they're like God's gift to hole number 14.
Right.
And like the pace of play needs to be great.
I got you
on the home stretch.
I got you.
Okay, enough about the marshal. Damn, he's living in my right.
Yeah, he's living rent free,
dude.
Next time I need you to start fucking up in the hall, I'm gonna call the marshal over and be like,
living in there, dude.
Hey, get on us about playing. Andrew's playing too slow.
It really, really gets me. So that's my 3. And this is my 2. I think this is something that, one, I've done semi-recently, but have done a couple times in the past, and I've even seen the pros do it on TV, which is, I'm sure, one of the most disgraceful and like humiliating things, like tail between the legs situation. And that for me is putting off the green.
Really?
Yeah, putting off the green, and there's like a false front.
Oh,
and you have to you hit it on the green, and you have a putter, only a putter in your hand,
right?
And you got to walk back to the cart to go get a wedge. That is devastating. I had to do that before.
Like you put it off the green when you're on the green.
Yeah.
Right. And
putting it off the green.
Now the putter doesn't even work. You have to go get a wedge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's tough.
I thought you're talking about like putting it from the fairway to the green. You're saying you're already on the green.
Yeah.
You put a shot on. There's a downhiller. You blast it past the downhiller, and it just keeps rolling.
And then
gone. The TV just zooms in on your ball, just like skipping
exactly
and rolling down the hill. Yeah, I got you. That's awful. That's an awful feeling.
That's in my 2, and I've done that before. And I went up and down. Thank goodness, because I would have probably snapped my putter over across my knee.
I guess I gotta go grab my wedge now.
Yeah, dude. Apparently that's useless.
Right.
I could just putt with my fucking hybrid or something.
Right. There's no point in me coming up here.
God. So that's in my 2 slot, and then a 1 slot for me. And this story has not been told in the pod, so this is why this is in my top slot here. And I think you know where I'm going with this. This is... Oh, you don't? This was the most humiliated I've ever felt on the golf course.
You pooped your pants on the golf course.
Well, I've done that before, but that's not the number 1 slot. That's just bad luck, okay?
Right. That's just God's will.
And this happened to me, and I think it was under the circumstances, and I'm sure it's happened to some people, but not all. Because if you're playing in tournaments and this happens to you,
oh, I know what you're talking about.
You're probably at a decent level of play where this doesn't happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just jump to the point, and then I'll say the story afterwards. Mm-hmm. And that's a swing and a miss.
Oh.
And if you swing and miss, that counts as a stroke, and you have to count that.
Right.
In a tournament.
If you put the club face behind the ball, you take your stance, and you do a couple of waggles, and it's very clear you're not doing a practice swing, and you whiff it, stroke.
Yeah.
And it happened to you, buddy.
Yeah, it's just like, I would say it's worse than missing like a 1 foot putt, like a lip out or something like that. For me it is. That. Like, that happened to me, and I've missed plenty of gimmies, and it's like, okay, like, that was just a weird one-off.
Right.
Like, it's okay, I can just, like, knock in this next, like, 1 footer. No big deal. That was, like, it was more of, like, a mental lapse.
Totally.
That's what it is. I went up on the second tee box at Miles Square tournament, and I driver in hand, and I literally swung and missed. And the thoughts, people say the worst shot in golf is after a shank. Boy, let me tell you, if you swing and miss with a driver,
it's the thoughts you go through your head.
That is by far the worst feeling.
Yeah. You came out and played well after that, didn't you?
I played well after.
Yeah.
Chalked mentally for like 2 holes.
Yeah, I don't play.
I mean, just ruined.
Yeah, you hammered the drive afterwards, though.
Yeah, I did. But the fact of the matter is, I got a fucking 460cc driver down there.
Right.
Which is like the size of like a small boulder down there.
Right.
And like I can't hit I couldn't even hit the crown. Like the air didn't even knock it off the tee.
And you looked at me and you're like, I just missed completely. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, that did happen. And we're just going to have to move past it as a group, as a family. We're going to have a regroup and we're going to move past it.
I didn't know if I missed it like the club like close to me, so I didn't even I wasn't reaching far enough to the ball, or I didn't know if I went over it.
Yeah, I think you went over it.
Just in my head, I didn't know. I'm like, oh my god, I felt like a decent swing. Like I felt like I should have made somewhat of a contact of this ball, dude. Not even like a portion of it didn't even dribble. It was on the tee.
Yeah, it didn't move.
It's on the tee, dude.
Yeah.
Swing and miss, by far and away, the most embarrassed I've felt and the most humiliating situation on a golf course. Worst thing about a
golf course.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome, buddy. That's a great top 3. I think we both had some awesome ones. A little fun anecdotes and stories there from us. What an amazing podcast. Very golf heavy, but that's per usual for us and the Cabbage Boys. We got a wedding coming up, so there'll be some fun little stories and podcasts coming out soon about that. Just another classic, good old-fashioned week for you. Lots of sports. You got anything for the people here, buddy?
I do, actually. I'm glad you turned it on over to me because I want to give a little shout-out to the boys wearing black and yellow. I'm talking about my guys over in the LB.
Ooh.
The LBC over there, men's volley. Took it to UCI this past week, a few days ago. Pulled a reverse sweep.
Ooh.
For a share of the Big West title for the regular season. So shout out LB squad.
Very cool. I mean, always fun that those boys are still playing some great volley even after the GOATs have left. You included in that conversation.
Well, I was playing, background music, but there's you gotta have the secondary singers in there.
Gotta have the cowbells.
You have to. That's great. Love that.
John and Madison and Jake will be, in the description of the other socials. Please, follow them. And majority of that, follow us, like our podcast, like our videos, follow us everywhere. We're on every major social platform. We're here for a while. We're never going anywhere. And you know who we are. This isn't a Cabbage. And just a reminder, keep swinging.